Hey guys, I am back with another video. Like I said, I am going to be updating a lot more frequently now, at least in the next month or so, just because I have some time to prep for the fall semester and just give you some tips as I come across them, as I'm planning what I should be informing you about and things that I remember when I was a student teacher, what I wish I would have known. So when I first started making YouTube videos, or I started this channel, this was about, oh gosh, maybe a year and a half ago, something like that. And really the purpose of making this channel was to give advice to student teachers, because when I was a student teacher and I went to YouTube to see if there were any videos available for high school teachers, there wasn't a lot. If you look up student teaching, you will find a lot of videos just about elementary school teachers or elementary school credential programs, or multiple subject credential programs, which was not what I was in, and I just didn't understand the correlation between both of them. There are some similarities, but I really wanted more of a high school focus. That is why I did start this channel, so a lot of the things I'll be talking about does correlate with the high school curriculum and high school credential program. That being said, I did want to address something that I believe all student teachers from the multiple subject credential program to the high school or secondary credential program can relate to, and that is taking a break after student teaching. The reason that I want to talk about this is because I was so pressured from myself to get a teaching job right out of graduating from the credential program. And if you've watched some of my old videos, I did say that I ended mid-year in my credential program. So I ended in January, and I had started the January prior. So I did end in a really funky time. So there were some jobs available, but they were either way too far from where I lived and I would have to relocate for a semester, or they were just looking for STEM, which is science, math, engineering, those kinds of teaching or tutoring jobs. So I really was at a loss for what to do. I wanted to get started right away into teaching, but I didn't want to make any drastic moves because I did primarily want to work here in Orange County, which is where I live. It just didn't seem to be a viable option for me, so I didn't know what to do. A lot of my professors and some of the teachers that I was student teaching with said that I needed to start teaching right away to gain experience as soon as possible, or that would look really bad on my resume. So that was why I felt really pressured to get a teaching job right after the credential program. I thought that I would never get a teaching job if I didn't jump right into teaching after the credential program. Now, to go back in time, I did still live with my parents. I think I did say that in one of my other videos, because I couldn't financially afford to live on my own going through the credential program, because you are teaching part-time with no pay, which made it very difficult. So one of the things that I did was tutoring, side tutoring, which helped me save a lot of money so that when I did end up having to move out when I got my job, I would be able to put a down deposit somewhere or buy some furniture that I needed. So I did end up doing that, but I just was not ready for a teaching job. I did get an offer right out of the credential program for a teaching job, but it was pretty far away, and I was just going through some things where I wasn't prepared to teach right away. I was so tired after the student teaching year that to jump right into a long-term sub position to me felt way too fast, and that I was kind of shorting myself and the students by not being mentally prepared. So I did something a little unconventional, and I applied to a job at a law firm. And I ended up working there as a paralegal assistant for 7 months before applying for other teaching jobs. You're probably wondering, how did I do having a non-teaching job after the credential program? And I was totally fine. I just applied to as many schools as I could, and I really played up the fact that I did some writing for the law firm and that I had a lot of organizational responsibilities while I was there, and I did pull it back into teaching as much as I could. But primarily, the schools that I applied for wanted to know about my student teaching experience, and the break wasn't so big that they were wondering, what were you doing the entire time? It was only about 6 or 7 months, but still, that to me felt like it was so long, and I did not want to get stuck in a job that I didn't go to school for and that I wasn't passionate about. Although I did love the law firm, and I did love the people I worked with, it was not something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I wanted to start teaching full-time right away. I wanted to give myself time before starting full-time teaching to just mentally prepare and to really know this is what I wanted to do. I did love student teaching, but I was a bit curious about, I did love to write, I do love to write and read, so I was wondering if there was another avenue I could go up. Perhaps I could go into the field of law, something like that, and so that was very interesting, but it really pushed me to know that I do want to teach and that is what I want to do. That being said, I do think it's very important to do things that you want to do before you start full-time teaching. For example, I really wanted to move out, and I was a bit nervous because it would be my first time paying for everything. It would be my first time really doing things on my own, and I just thought that would be so much while I was starting my teaching position to do that all at once. So during that 6-7 month gap, I learned how to pay my own bills. I moved out. I got into the flow of working full-time, 8 to 5, and then I slowly started applying for jobs. So it was the perfect break for me. I was so nervous that I wasn't going to be able to find anything, but working full-time instilled a lot of professional qualities in me, especially working at a law firm, and it also solidified the fact that I do want to be a teacher. So if you have any sort of doubt or any sort of feeling that you want to do certain something before you start teaching, I would greatly suggest that you try that, because that will help you really tailor what you want to do, or will solidify if you want to be a teacher or not, like it did for me. So I think that break was very, very important, mentally, spiritually, physically, everything. It was really, really important to me. So now I feel stronger than ever to go into teaching and very prepared and ready. That would be a suggestion from me to you, is to not fear the dreaded break after student teaching, because I did. I was so afraid of it. I didn't know what I was going to do. I really thought I had pigeonholed myself into a situation where I had to rush into teaching right away, and I just want to let you know that that is not mandatory. You do have to clear your credential in about 5 years, but I wouldn't recommend waiting 5 years to do that, but just giving yourself a few months, maybe a semester or a year, just to like have your credential and really prep yourself mentally for that. If not, if you feel energized to go right into it, definitely go right into it. That's totally fine. But for me, I was a bit young. I started student teaching when I was 21, and I was teaching students that were 17 years old. So I was pretty close in age, and I wasn't as experienced with life and things in general. So I really need to get that experience. If that's the case for you, maybe think about exploring other boundaries if you want. If not, then you can just go straight into it. But that is my suggestion for you, because I just wish that somebody would have told me earlier on to not be so anxious and not to be so nervous. If there is a slight break, or there are some months where you're not teaching, that's okay. You know, that is fine. Life is a journey and it's not a destination. Same with teaching. Teaching is not necessarily, you know, on a timeline. It is for, you know, the school year, but you should go into teaching when you feel prepared to be around students and to influence them for the better and to be strong yourself. Good luck with your student teaching journey, or good luck with teaching in general, because I really am finding that this process of becoming a teacher and the process of being a teacher is very, very rewarding, but it can seem super, super daunting, and sometimes you need somebody to tell you that it's going to be okay. Thank you for watching, and if you have any other suggestions, please leave it in the comments below. I will try to get to as much videos as possible, things that I think of as I'm prepping, or things that I wish somebody would have told me earlier on. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.